The comics you need to know about for Wednesday, November 27th, 2019. Hey everyone, it's VM Campos, comic book fan. Welcome to another episode of Top Comic Book Picks with VM Campos. That's me. This is the series where I show you some comics that you've got to be on the lookout for at your local comic shops. Don't forget to patronize your local comic shops. Visit them. That's where you want to get your comics from. That's the best place. Support your local shops, your local businesses. It's really worth it. Speaking of support, don't forget to head on over to patreon.com/vmcampos. If you go there, you'll get access to the exclusive version of this video, which also lets you know about all the hot #1 comics you need to know about. This free version will tell you a lot of great stuff, of course, but if you want to know about the #1 comics coming out, issue #1s, you want to head on over to patreon.com/vmcampos, and for $1 you'll get access to that plus my other exclusive videos all about comic books and my other stuff like Magic the Gathering. In any event, let's check out the free version of the video. Alright, so I've got loaded up the comics that I want to talk about. Let's start off with Marvel. We've got Venom #20. This is the Absolute Carnage tie-in. This is #20. It's the final tie-in with Absolute Carnage, so that has been an epic thing that's been going on. Donny Cates and Iban Coelho are wrapping it all up. I love this cover. Let's get a zoom in close cover on this. This is the Venom symbiote combining with the Carnage symbiote, and then Null and all of that. So this has been kind of an epic storyline happening. It's just interesting to see where this character has gone from like the original symbiote to where it is now. So I'm going to be picking up Venom #20 or Legacy #185. Next up, Valkyrie, Jane Foster #5. This is the Renaud 2099 variant. So what's old is new. That's like the #1 adage of comic books. So here comes Marvel 2099 again. Back when I first read the 2099 books in 1993, that was going to be 100 years in the future or more. And now that we're in 2019, it's only 80 years from now. Anyway, Into the Eternal Darkness. So this is the conclusion of the storyline that started with issue #1. So Jane Foster, after she was Thor, now she's Valkyrie, and I kind of love her outfit with these kind of like cyber wings and that big old sword and stuff. Really cool. So this is happening in the 2099 dimension, and look at that mace that she's got there and everything. It's kind of a really cool concept. I like that a lot. So I'm picking this one up here. Jane Foster, Valkyrie, #5, the 2099 variant. Okay, this one's interesting. Star Wars Dr. Aphra #39. This is the Raza cover. Now, it says not final, and they're probably going to change it up slightly, but I love this. Here's Rose Tycho right here. She's so cool. Look at that. You can even see like her hair, her strands of hair and everything. So realistic. Just a perfect depiction of the actress. And this is Greatest Moments variant #34 of 36. Have you been getting the other ones? This one is the Saving What We Love variant. So for whatever reason it says it's not final. I don't know what else they're going to change all about it, but I'm picking up this one. Here's just such a great example of a realistic style of art. And I haven't been following the Dr. Aphra books. I was there in the beginning, but I fell off. But I want to get this one because it's the end of a particular plot line, and this cover is cool. I like it. Next up, Ghost Spider #4. This is the Bengal 2099 variant. So again, this is another one of these 2099 books that's coming out from Marvel. How do I feel about that Spider-Gwen or Ghost Spider outfit from the future? Well, it's very close to the one currently there, although there's like some black lines and stuff like that, and then there's like a holographic hoodie or something. I don't know if I love that. So I don't think it's very different from what it currently is. But I love the neon glow futurism of the 2099 aesthetic, so I'm going to get that version of this comic. Now, I do have to say, however, I'm not a big fan of the plot of the current Spider-Gwen stuff. First of all, she's Ghost Spider nowadays, which I don't like that name. And the current plotline that she's in our dimension. Well, the Earth 616 dimension. And she's kind of hanging out in our dimension and stuff's going on. Okay, well, whatever. Anyway, I'm liking this and I'm going to get Ghost Spider number 4, the Bengal variant. Okay, next up, Venom number 20. This is the 2099 variant. So I already mentioned the regular Venom cover, but then I'm liking this one here because what is this? This is the Venom 2099 version. So again, I remember this way back in the 90s, Spider-Man 2099, and then they had Venom 2099. So as the symbiote evolves into, 80 years in the future and stuff. So it always had like this really cool aesthetic, and it's not Eddie Brock anymore. This is like totally the future, but is a kind of a cool, interesting cover, bringing back the classic stuff. Again, what's old is new. Nostalgia is a heck of a drug. Moving over to DC Comics, I've been loving these acetate covers. Okay, first of all, let's look at the version here with the cover flipped on. This is just a beautiful cover. I'm going with Batgirl number 41, Year of the Villain, and just this beautiful luminous colorization. And you've got Oracle in these cables, and it's like cybernetic. I kind of love that. But wait a minute, this is the acetate cover. So when you pull that acetate cover away, what you then actually see is Batgirl all beat up in the emergency room and stuff. So again, all of the cables that were there connecting to Oracle are now looking at, Batgirl's hospital bed. So I really like how they've gotten creative with that. So there it is with the acetate on, and then when you pull the acetate back, you see that. So that's really cool. I'm picking up Batgirl number 41, the acetate cover. Next up, Action Comics 1017 cardstock variant cover. I love this cover. This is the Chris Perillo cover. It's not quite noted here, but if you obviously look at their signature in the book, there you see it right there, Perillo. So this is the Year of the Villain, the hostile takeover. And what's kind of cool, not just the cover, this is Brian Michael Bendis and John Romita Jr. joining forces. Now that's interesting to think about how those are two Marvel creators that are over on DC's biggest book and with an amazing cover. And it's just a fascinating time to be reading this book. So I'm picking up Action Comics number 1017. Batman Beyond number 38. This is the variant edition. This is by Dan Jurgens, Sean Chen. I love this cover. It's got Batwoman Beyond. She's made a splash. Her first appearance is already worth big bucks, even though it's barely a few months old. Wonderful cover here. It feels like a little bit of like airbrush, and it's just a very cool close-up pose, very mysterious. And the plot line is, with Terry McGinnis wanted by the police and on the run, the only person who can stop him is Batwoman. But how do you stop a walking nuclear reactor when you barely know how to use your own high-tech suit? So very cool. Batman Beyond number 38, the variant edition. Detective Comics number 1016 cardstock variant. So here's another one of these cardstock variants that are just wonderful. Look at this art again. This is just tremendous. This pose is amazing. The background is so cool. Look at all those bats flying around, and then the positioning of the building and everything, and just a badass Batman as always. An amazing cover by Carrie Andrews. Defeating her now estranged husband, Mr. Freeze, isn't enough to sate Nora Freeze's bloodlust as she usurps his frozen throne, establishing herself as the first Ice Queen of Gotham. So isn't that interesting to think about how the whole impetus of Mr. Freeze was his wife, and now she's been brought back, and now she's a villain as well. And we got to deal with that. So amazing cover right here for Detective number 1016. One final DC comic. This is another Year of the Villain variant cover. This is Justice League Dark. This is the Clayton Crane cover. Another one of these covers that's really cool because it's just like, it's a close-up, it's very detailed, it's realistic, but still cartoony enough. You see a lot of detail I just love like the stars within her hair and everything. And then there's just kind of like a lot to look at, to enjoy. I kind of love like the purple lipstick and everything. Just a really cool cover. This is a great wall book. It's like almost a virgin cover. And as for the plot, for thousands of years, Circe has plotted in the shadows, waiting for the moment she could ascend to become the true goddess of magic. So very cool cover. I love the style. I'm going to be picking up Justice League Dark number 17. Over at Image Comics, Curse Words number 25. Here's the series finale. So this is an interesting series that's been around for several years, kind of underground, under the radar sort of thing. Very interesting book. Love this cover. It's just so painterly. It does look like, you know, a real sort of like paint job sort of thing. I wonder if it's digital. Friends, it's been a hell of a ride, just a hell of a ride. And now it's time to see Curse Words bring this ungainly wizard ship in for a landing. So final issue, issue number 25. This is by Charles Soule and Ryan Brown. Fight Club Volume 3, number 11. This is the regular Mac cover. It's just fascinating to think that the original author of the Fight Club novel is also the writer of this comic book. So Chuck himself works on it, and look at these covers. This is in the running for like the best covers of 2019. My video that is coming out eventually, that is recapping all the covers that are the best of 2019. So I really think these David Mack covers are going to get there pretty well. So congratulations, it's not the Messiah we were expecting, but it'll have to do. So this is number 11 of Fight Club Volume 3 from Dark Horse. I'm always a sucker for photo covers, so I'm going to pick up the Betty Page Unbound number 6, cover E, the photo cover. So a classic Betty Page cover. Here in a sort of harem sort of outfit, I suppose, or Genie. I Dream of Genie or something. This is David Avallone, who's also working on the Elvira book. So cover is a photo. It's almost 1953 and Americans are afraid. There are flying saucers in the sky, a commie spy under every bed, and something even more dangerous might be attacking America from within. So this is kind of interesting. It's reimagining Betty Page. It's got some classic photo covers. Betty Page Unbound, number 6. Rick and Morty versus Dungeons & Dragons, Volume 2, Painscape, number 3, cover C. So I love the character sheet covers. I've been getting all of those. So here we have Wizard, Fighter, Rogue, Rick. You can't be so many things at once, can you? And so this is going to be like the official stats. 165,000 experience points. Wizard 5, Fighter 5, Rogue 5, Human Sage, Chaotic Neutral. Yeah, right. And so this is like the perfect way to make your own Dungeons & Dragons Rick and Morty inspired campaigns with the official stat sheet. I've been loving all of these that they've been publishing, so I'm going to get the next one here. Rick and Morty vs. Dungeons & Dragons Volume 2 Painscape, number 3, cover C, character sheet variant. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 45, the foil variant. These have been so beautiful to behold in real life, so I'm recommending this one. If you're walking into your comic shops and if you're a Power Ranger fan, these are just some beautiful books to have. Necessary Evil continues. The all-new Omega Rangers team up with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for the first time. Written by Ryan Parrott and art by Danielle D. Nicuolo. Cover art by Goni Montes. How about some holiday cheer with the My Little Pony Holiday Special? I'm going with the cover B, the Trish Fortsner cover. So these one-shots are pretty cool because they're kind of under the radar. They sometimes introduce things that'll be valuable later on as sort of these one-shots. The art is always cute with this series. And this is cover B of this long-running series. So when Rarity is invited to 3 parties on Hearth's Warming Eve, one in Manhattan, one in Canterlot, and one at home in Ponyville, she is loath to miss out on any of the fun and decides that instead of deciding she'll go to all 3. Hilarity ensues. So I'm picking up My Little Pony Holiday Special cover B. Another photo cover, Cobra Kai, Karate Kid, Saga Continues, number 2 of 4, cover B, the photo. So just another photo cover that I really like, and again, this is an example of nostalgia. Who would have thought that the bad guys of the original movie would have their own comic, 30 years later, 35 years later? So I'm going to be on the lookout for this photo cover. Goth, Young Lovers at War, one shot. Okay, this is from Source Point. We're going over to some of the smaller publishers. First of all, let's look at this amazing cover. Great monochromatic cover right here, very evocative. This reminds me of the lovers caught in Dante's Inferno that can never reach each other for their crime of lust, for their sin of lust. The first in an exciting genre-bending series of goth one-shots from critically acclaimed writer Paul Allor and exciting newcomer Seth Adams. When a young Visigoth warrior named Dolphus finds himself spurned by his lover Gerda, he throws himself into battle, seeking an honorable death that never seems to come. So this seems interesting. It's from a small publisher, low print run. It's going to intrigue me, this cover, this plot. It's from a smaller publisher, so it might be kind of cool to pick up. And lastly, Unbound number 2 from Zenescope. Cover C from Darylus Santa Cruz. So very cool cover again. I love this cyberpunk stuff. And so this character here, I'm not reading the book just yet, but I'm always on the lookout for some cool covers. So I saw this one, and again, this sort of like luminous, futuristic cyberpunk cover. I'm a sucker for those. And then goggles. I love goggles. Pink hair, mohawks. Okay, I'm sold. As for the plot itself, Lucas re-enters the ether to hunt down Marna, the woman who betrayed him at Kane's compound. But when he finds her, Lucas realizes he's no match for her now, and stares certain death in the face. So it sounds pretty epic. This is Ralph Tedesco, writer, and Darylus Santa Cruz as artist. This is number 2 of 5 from Zenescope. So there you go, comic book fans. This was the short version of the video. I picked up a bunch of comic books here that I think you will like, that you might be on the lookout for when you walk into your comic shops. This is the short version of the video. If you'd like the longer version, where I also reveal some amazing #1 comics that I would recommend, head on over to patreon.com/vmcampos. For $1, you'll get access to the exclusive version of the video, where I'll talk about some other books that you might be on the lookout for. While you're there, you'll also see a lot of other exclusive stuff for that $1. If you go to $2, I will actually mail you a comic book in thanks for becoming part of the VMC crew. Or you can simply follow. Follows are free, and it alerts you to everything that I do. So head on over to patreon.com/vmcampos. This has been VM Campos, and I'll see you next week.